A bill introduced in this year's state legislative session would make sure those who are experiencing homelessness maintain their rights. Good evening, I'm Marie Mortera. Sponsors are calling this the Homeless Person's Bill of Rights. News 3's Angela Murrah joins us live from Las Vegas with the author's emotional push for the proposal.
Yeah, that's correct, Marie. If Senate Bill 142 is signed into law, it will look to maintain everyone's rights, no matter if you're housed or unhoused. News 3 has extensively covered the homeless situation in southern Nevada, and now a bill introduced by lawmakers in Carson City will look to protect our unhoused neighbors.
We've got a police bill of rights. We've got a homeowner's bill of rights. We have a sexual assault survivors bill of rights, and the list goes on and on.
Senator Dallas Harris is the author of Senate Bill 142, which looks to make sure homeless people's rights are not violated. She says hearing stories of unjust treatment to persons experiencing a homeless situation is what prompted her to write the piece of legislation.
This is really the least we can do for these folks who don't have lobbyists in the building advocating for their interests.
According to social service officials with Clark County, about 15,000 people experience an unhoused situation each year in southern Nevada. Harris says other states have similar bills on the books. This would protect unhoused folks from several things, including harassment and abuse. They would also receive the same treatment from state and local government agencies, and this would cement their right to be in public areas and spaces.
A lot of folks just don't want to see them. And so it seems like we've gotten into this habit of removing them from places that every citizen actually has a right to be in. It's really just the baseline of where we should be. Every person can use every public space without discrimination with regards to their housing status.
She hopes this bill will change some people's approach to our unhoused neighbors.
If you have been out there violating homeless people's rights, you're going to cut that off, right? You're going to knock that off. I also hope that it'll give a little bit of inspiration to the unhoused, knowing that people like me, Senate, do in fact care.
Well, if this bill is passed, Harris believes that it will go into effect later on this year.
Iran claims it has arrested more than 100 people in connection with the suspected poisoning of hundreds of schoolgirls. Protesters in Las Vegas continue to push for human rights reforms. News 3's Tiffany Lane was on the Strip where protesters gathered, saying the Iranian government should be to blame for those alleged poisonings.
A couple dozen gathering here saying the Iranian government is using chemical poisonings as a way to squash ongoing protests in Iran as people there demand a regime change. And this group here says it wants justice.
Justice for Iran!
Justice for Iran!
Chants of woman life freedom and down with Islamic Republic on the Las Vegas Strip Sunday. Outrage after more than 1,000 schoolgirls have suffered poisoning symptoms. Iran's Interior Ministry claiming the individuals, quote, tried to create fear and horror among people and students, shut down schools and created pessimism toward the Iranian government. But protests around the world and now Las Vegas, with people saying the Iranian government is behind the poisonings.
They're just chemically attacking everyone inside of school. It's more than 80 schools in Iran. It has to be the government, and they're the one who's doing it. And it's just a new thing for them to shut down all the women and all the people in Iran. That's what they're doing to make them be scared.
The poisonings began in November in the city of Qom and spread to 25 of Iran's 31 provinces, prompting some parents to take children out of school and protest. Many schoolgirls have been active in ongoing protest in Iran since September, removing their mandatory headscarves in classrooms, tearing up pictures of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. These protests leading to a revolution since the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini in September, who died in police custody for not properly wearing her hijab. Since then, hundreds of protesters have been killed, including dozens of children, and including 4 public hangings as well.
People don't have freedom. Iranian women need to be free. But they have no mercy for children, women, men. Whoever comes, they kill.
As the news of the poisonings continue to come out of Iran, we hear that Iran and Saudi Arabia, both countries known for human rights violations, have agreed to end years of hostilities, this in a deal mediated by China.
Click below and subscribe to News 3 and you'll get more stories about our community.